Can't steal my notes.
All the notes are up here, baby.
Should have come prepared.
I'm never prepared. What's up, guys? Ooh. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as some of you may know, we have spent a few days in Boston, Massachusetts. The only Boston that I think people are aware of. But we did take a vacation there. We did have some leftover plane tickets from our honeymoon where we were going to go to Cancun, but don't know if some of you may have heard that Cancun had one of the worst homicide years in the history of the, I guess you call it a country. I don't know. Providence? Is it a province? Providence?
I feel like Cancun is an area.
Cancun was bad. We canceled our honeymoon. We got some leftover plane tickets, so we took a trip to Boston. We didn't have a lot of time to do some commentary, so what we're going to do now is just watch all the film that we have on Boston, and we are going to talk about it for you. And this is part, as you know, of the vlogging series, David and Allie Go. So here's part 2. Let's go.
Here's what I've learned about Boston so far. They like their Red Sox, they love their Patriots, and their preferred food of choice, Dunkin' Donuts. There is a Dunkin' Donuts literally everywhere in Boston. You cannot go 100 feet without seeing a Dunkin' Donuts, it seems like. I saw a slogan on the back of a car in the middle of downtown Boston that said, "We like our Monsters green, and we love our coffee Dunkin'."
So Salem is what we did on the first day. And so this is us leaving. So we took a ferry to Salem, which I'll admit I bought the wrong tickets for. So we had to rebuy the tickets to Salem. But yeah, here's the shot of us leaving the harbor at Boston. So
It was
beautiful
gorgeous.
shot, yeah.
I loved the boat ride.
Yeah.
The ferry we were on, they offered drinks. I mean, it was really early, so no one was drinking, but the ferry boat was nice. There was a tour guide giving us just kind of an idea of what the islands were while we were around.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
it was comfy.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably about 30 or 40 people there. Like she said, they were serving drinks. You could walk outside. Evie is on the table over there. Walking outside, usually get splashed with waves though. The boat went pretty fast. I think you said it got up to like 30 knots or something, which is pretty fast for a boat. Convert that into miles per hour if you want. But so yeah, Thursday it was really cold when we went to Salem.
It was the coldest day.
Yeah, it was a day to be sure to behold.
A day to behold.
So this is us. So now we're pulling into. I think this is us pulling into the Salem Harbor. So
Just look at that water.
I know. So the boat ride took about an hour, which was pretty good. I mean, but again, a beautiful day. Even though it was chilly, even though it was windy, put on a jacket and a hat and fun. Getting off at Salem, I don't know, maybe we're just nerds, but this is where I was really excited. Like, the whole Salem experience was just so cool. Like, you just got this small town feeling. It felt like fall there.
Well, I mean, I've never been there any other time, but it just seems like they really light up during October because they own the witch thing.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. It has a whole wonderful feel to it.
Yeah. Every house in Salem that's at least a historical house had a little plaque on the outside with the date that it was built on there. So, you know, there's this House of Seven Gables tour that we went to that had Nathaniel Hawthorne's birthplace, and that's what we're going into right now.
Yeah, the houses, they came from a couple different places, but they all brought them to this one spot and made it one tour. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I love this house. It was small, but it was still a good idea of like what people used to live with, and it was, I mean...
Yeah, this first one was his birth house.
Right.
And that was, yeah, like you said, it was really small. The stairs were really small.
Yeah, the stairs were insane. So this is the whole Hawthorne family, which I guess if y'all took a look at that, you could see Justice John Hawthorne, nicknamed the hanging judge right there, which that's the famous judge who sentenced all those people to death in the Salem witch trials. So that was Nathaniel Hawthorne's, I guess it was his grandfather or great-grandfather or something like that. But anyways.
Just interesting that they're tied together. The whole history of this town is tied to that, even if they tried to forget it.
Yeah. None of the furniture in this house was authentic. I think we actually had a lady ask that 2 or 3 times. I don't think she kind of understood that the furniture was not authentic. But yeah, everything else that they could deem safe for public tourism was authentic. So the floorboards, the stairs, the doors, the windows.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So then we moved to the second house, which was the big one. Oh, and the gardens outside.
Yeah, I couldn't film in that second house. There's a guide they were watching.
Yeah, we were with a guide the whole time. That was a larger house, but still smaller.
Yeah, so the only part that I got, actually, this is why I went last. Do you remember going up the secret staircase?
Yes. Yeah, that was really, really cool.
Yeah. So this is us just walking the streets of Salem.
Yes. That was the Catholic Church. We always like to point out the Catholic churches.
Always.
I don't know why.
You know why.
I think they're pretty.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about just walking around Salem, a lot of people, as you can see, you're going to see little witches and stuff in the background. Everybody was ready for Halloween. Salem really got together. I think this is the market square of Salem.
It was kind of like their main street,
Yeah.
And it kind of definitely gave me a Halloween Town meets Diagon Alley kind of feel, where you want to duck in all the little shops and see all the little things they have.
Yeah.
And they have authentic witch things, so it's not all touristy per se.
Yeah.
When I say authentic witch things,
Yeah. I mean, they have street performer. I mean, it was just so cool to just, like she said, it's like Diagon Alley. You're walking down, you see street performers, and there's people handing out pamphlets for psychics and Halloween stores, and it's just so cool. It's such a good atmosphere.
And we went to several museums while we were there also.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. They're really strict on filming.
Of course they are. That's how they make their revenue.
Right. They don't want anyone to show up. We actually went and saw. Remember that monster?
Yeah, that was really
museum?
cool.
That was really cool. We went and saw a whole history of monster movies, but they only had the monsters, but in wax form.
Yeah, they had wax figurines of all the major monster
life
movies.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were huge.
I think that's what this was.
The Nightmare Gallery.
Yeah.
That was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, but I mean, you walked in and they were like, "Put your camera away." They had cameras everywhere.
Yeah, there was actually someone who was going through the museum behind us, and apparently she pulled out her phone because the museum keeper guy, he jumped out and scared them and told them to put their phone away.
Yeah,
so
they
were watching.
It was so cool though. I mean, if you ever go to Salem, of course, go to the whatever that was, the Nightmare Museum. That's going to be definitely worth it.
So we did visit the graveyard. It was a super old graveyard.
Yeah.
And then attached to the graveyard was the Salem Witch Trial Memorial.
Right.
But just walking through these graveyards, man. This one, and then we went to one back in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the older ones. And it's just amazing how many gravestones they still have. I mean, it was beautiful though. They had this huge oak tree in the middle of the grave site or the graveyard to give it this eerie kind of thing. I mean, here's a lot of gravestones going back to the 1600s to the 1800s, and there's that tree I was talking about.
Yeah, and one thing I really appreciated about the gravesite in Salem versus maybe even the one in Boston was that everyone was really respectful there. Obviously, everyone there was a tourist.
Yeah.
Going around looking, but it was still quiet. Everyone was pretty respectful. No one was running around being crazy.
Yeah.
I just really appreciated that. And I think maybe due to the fact that everyone was sort of in awe in how beautiful and how solemn it was, really.
Yeah. Here we are going through. Now, these are all of the people who were part of the witch trials, or at least the famous ones. I think, all in all,
No, it's everyone
that
who
was hanged, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone who died.
Yeah.
They have around the memorial, which a lot of the names we recognize because, of course, we were in the Crucible. That's how we
Right.
met. So that was kind of fun, but of course we were respectful about it.
Right.
To go around and recognize like which ones we recognized.
So here we are. I think this is Friday. So this is us walking around just like the Common Square or near the Common Square for Boston.
Yeah, this is while we were still with the tour guide before we ditched her.
Yeah. And do you remember? So we were trying to do the tour guide, and here she is again playing her little flute or whatever you call it, fife.
Fife.
No. So now this is where we were going. So this is after we ditched the tour guide. We were going downtown and just walking around for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we ran across this ship. Do you remember what this ship was
Yeah, this
called?
was with I don't remember
No,
what
it
it was
wasn't-
called, but it was
the
at
big
the
one.
No, it was at the Tea Party Museum.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
right.
remember what it was called, but they had a Tea Party Museum. We didn't go through that museum. There's so many tours you kind of have to pick and choose.
There's a tour everywhere at this place.
But we
man.
did go to the spot. We went in. We actually had a restroom break there, but
Yeah.
we went in. We looked around at the little ship that they have there. That was still pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is. I remember walking down here. This is just back in the Commons area, and there was like people taking a nap in the sun and.
Yeah, it was gorgeous that day.
Yeah,
that
that
day
day
it had to
was-
be in the mid 50s probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So in the sun it was really comfortable. I think I barely even had a jacket that day.
Yeah, no, this was, we were walking around so much too, to stay warm. We walk around everywhere in Boston, so. Yeah, there's that. There's another church, was that church Catholic too?
No, this is one of the ones, it's one of the stops on the Freedom Trail.
Yeah,
It's one of the first ones.
so here we are.
Yeah.
This was our first time too in a city that used a subway system, so we had
the
to,
subway.
it wasn't that bad.
The subway was not my favorite.
It could have been better.
We used it to get everywhere. It was somewhat convenient, but not my favorite thing.
It wasn't that hard to figure out. Luckily, we had some good experienced people who had told us how to use the subway and figure it out, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and you can also link it up to an app on your phone, and they make it pretty easy for you, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, what I didn't so much like about it was all the crowds. There were a lot of people, and it did take you about an hour to get anywhere.
Yep.
So you kind of had to factor that in. We had a couple late nights where we were just doing things and we got home late,
Yeah.
just solely because we were taking the train home.
Yep.
So
All right. Well, that's the first 2 days of Boston.
that went by fast.
Yeah, a lot jam packed in there. So,
Yeah.
well, guys, thanks a lot for watching part 1. This is a 2-parter, so stay tuned for part 2. I'll upload that as soon as we can get around to it. But thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, I can actually play this thing.